Go. We're just going to wait a minute or two here to get started so that people have a chance to join. So just hang tight. All right, great. Looks like we have a decent amount of people on. So we're going to get started. So thank you all for jumping in the middle of the work week to join us today. I'm really excited to introduce our speaker for this week. We've been in talks over the past couple weeks, and just want to start out with introductions here. My name is Ross Chesnick. I'm the COO of Listo. And today we have the pleasure of having Sharnell from the Edmonton Oilers, who's the VP of Hospitality over there. And you can introduce your longer title, Sharnell, because I'm going to butcher it, I'm sure, if I do it. So really wanted to start off with, the theme of this webinar is really focusing on how to create that optimal fan destination. And Sharnell is incredibly talented in what she's done and able to build out with the Ice District and what they were able to do at Rogers Place. So I will pass the mic over to you, Sharnell, and let you introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Ross. It's been a pleasure chatting with you over the last couple weeks. So my name is Sharnell Hordo. I am the Vice President of Hospitality for Rogers Place and Ice District. It is a mouthful, but we've got a lot going on around here. And so I've been with the company directly with OEG since the beginning of this year. However, over 10 years, I've been with the Oilers in some capacity or another. In food and beverage, we have a lot of third-party contractors. So I've worked with 4 over the last 10 years. I'm a born and raised Edmontonian. A little background on me and kind of how I found myself with the Oilers through my career is I was in university. I have a degree in human ecology and a certificate in interior design, which doesn't sound like it would actually be useful for what we do, but in development device district and kind of our growth. And I use a lot of what I do in interior design for our restaurant concepts and our design work that we do in our growth. So it's actually quite nice to have that background. But out of university, I was working for Daytona Homes and it really wasn't a fit. It didn't work. I really loved the hospitality industry and I found myself coming back to that. And a friend of mine that I went to university with, she still works here actually. She was bartending at Rexall and she said, "Hey, come down and come bartend. It's a fun job. It's really great. And it's a nice alternative to like your typical, 2 a.m. bar job." And I said, "Okay, sounds good. Like I'll do that." I really didn't have a direction of where I wanted my career to go and like what I was going to do post school. So started at Rexall 10 seasons ago as a bartender, really not intending it to be a career or to find myself. If you told me 10 years ago that I'd be the VP of hospitality, I would have been like, yeah, right. Like that's, you're joking. But it was fantastic. So 2 seasons over at Rexall, we were with Delaware North at the time. And then the food service component was contracted out to Northlands. And when the new arena started being built, Airmark was awarded that contract. And in 2016, in June, they were starting to hire bartenders and starting to hire like that frontline staff for opening in September of 2016. And so me and my friends that worked there, we all went down and had some group interviews. And I was pulled aside after my group interview, and the manager at the time, who's still a friend to this day, she said, "Hey, like based on your experience, I'd worked in bars and restaurants for years. I helped manage a bar. And I had some of that background." And she's like, "We're really looking for supervisors and some of that mid-level team members. Like, would you be interested in interviewing for a supervisor role? We have a bartender job for you if you want it. If you're not interested at all, like, don't worry about it." But I said, "Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm a big believer, doors open for a reason." And so that door opened, and one would say the rest is history, because from there, I became a supervisor. I had the privilege of having some fabulous bosses and some mentors and champions throughout my career who really helped me grow and develop over the last 8 years in this building, and became an assistant manager. And then I became a manager. And then COVID hit and we did Hub City and we did the World Juniors. And I was lucky enough to be a part of both of those things. And I didn't really have any gaps over COVID. We were lucky enough to host Hub City and then have the season of no fans. And I worked all through that. And then when we Airmark finished the contract, and then Levy Compass took over in 2021, and I came on as the director of premium then. And then grew to be the assistant director of operations the year after that. And then this year I became the VP of hospitality here. So now overseeing our entire campus's hospitality program. So really grateful, really lucky. Sports is in my background. I've been an Oilers fan for years. Like my office is filled with memorabilia and stuff that I've collected my whole entire life. So really a big fan to be a part of this organization and help us at the most exciting time of year. Like right now, heading into the Stanley Cup final on Saturday is truly like a dream for so many of us that live and breathe this world.
Yeah, and I was about to mention we can't kind of hide from the elephant in the room here, which is the fact that Edmonton made it to the Stanley Cup and their first game is on Saturday, I believe.
Yeah, first watch party. So games in Florida, and we're expecting tens of thousands of folks down here to help us watch the game on the TV. Yeah, it's great.
That's amazing. And I think that this is kind of a great place to say this is a number of firsts for you as well. This is your first Stanley Cup that you've gone through with the organization, and it's the first Stanley Cup since 2006 as well. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing. And so I guess with all of this fandom that's kind of happening right now, I think it's a great segue to kind of talk about what it's like to have a fan destination the way that Rogers Place and the Ice District are set up. So would love to kind of talk through that history. Like, how did you create this fan experience that you have both during game time when games are away? I mean, you have some crowds that are even bigger than the attendance capacity of arenas when there's a home game away. So it's incredibly built. So I'd love to kind of talk through that a little bit more.
Yeah, first and foremost, it's 100% a holistic effort. Like, when I'm speaking, it's from a food and beverage and a hospitality lens, but it truly is a team effort, and it's all of us in our departments working together to create what we like to call I remember moments. And for some of us, that's I remember when Garth Brooks had 9 shows here, like dating back for many years. But for us, that's I remember moments, and it's FanX, it's security, it is our marketing team, our game presentation team. It's every single department working holistically to drive this experience for our fans. But from my job and kind of what we do in the hospitality side of things is really helping to create that environment and helping to have our fans feel like a home game, so that but also remembering that it's not a home game. So for us, like our pricing structure is a bit differently. We're much more family friendly and more family focused for watch parties. And so that helps us reach a different demographic than maybe our home games are reaching. And it helps, we like to say we're building our fans. Our demographic outside and our watch parties are a bit younger. They're high school age students, and it's about what does that experience look like, because we want them to be our future season seat holders. And so it's really about growing the fan base from the little fan that's coming in who's obsessed with Hunter to when you have a full adult who's obsessed with Hunter. And like we have Hunter cookies, and as much as we're like, oh, the kids would love them, it's adults who are buying those too. And they're really but it's really it's a holistic experience from start to finish from all departments. And we're really excited to be able to share that. And you're right, we have more people here between all of our campuses. We have our fan park, which is outside, our plaza that's outside, and our in building. All those spaces together will have 23 to 30,000 people here on a watch party. The team's not even here, and we're doing full food and full beverage services for all of those people.
And I mean, it's amazing kind of the results that you have right now with what the Ice, district has become. But how did you even get started? Like, how did you even know that this was something that would have this type of gravitational pull to your fan base? Like, why can't everyone create an Ice district the way Edmonton did? So if you can just kind of get through the history of like, how did this even come to be? How did it start and how did it evolve over time?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we opened in 2016, we were just the building, but our ownership group had a vision of this entire campus and the entire Ice district fully being something that is a destination for people to come to. And from a food and beverage side, as we've grown and developed, we've actually grown and developed and created our own competition, which, competition breeds innovation, and it breeds making yourself better and better. So when, inside the building, the team who's here, who runs, for example, Molson Hockey House, they're trying to get fans into their space and competing with the manager in the cubicle next to them, who's trying to get fans into the fan park and plaza. So that, there's a little bit of competition there, but it's helps everybody else, but that helps breed innovation, right? Like, how are we always getting better every single year? When we started in the plaza, for example, our first year that we had that space open was actually Hub City. And so was very much like a concrete pad. And we learned a lot that summer about what we needed to do to make it viable and make it really exciting for fans to come down when we were able to open up to fans again after COVID lifted. And so in 2021, we started doing outdoor activations. And for food and beverage, we were a tent with a 6-foot table. Like we were bare bones. And now I'm proud to say we own 3 20-foot shipping containers, and we own 1 40-foot shipping container with a patio on the top. And so over the last 3 years, we've really grown our services and, trying to figure out what does the service look like. So it's VIP packages on top of that patio, right? It's private bartenders, it's private viewing parties on top of that space. We've got some patio spaces in Ice District that, growing, developing them to watch the game outside. And also safety is important. So for our staff, we can shut our boxes and be really safe when we're trying to do liquor cutoff and pieces like that. But there are also fantastic ways that we can do barbecues outside, and we can do like Oktoberfest over the course of September and October with a giant tent outside that we purchased this year. And now that's an actual structure, so we can have a more expansive food and beverage menu through that. So it's just about growing and investing in pieces that are here for us long term. And like I said, it's insane to me that we started with a nice like pop-up tent and a 6-foot table 3 years ago, and now we're doing full food and beverage services outside and have been able to grow very quickly as our fans have grown to really love being here with us.
That's amazing. So that happens even in the off season then.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah. We're, every weekend in our Ice District, we've packed out. Right now we've got a carnival outside in our fan park. And we're doing, our rock boxes, that's, our shipping containers out there doing the beverage service for that. So it's not just sports that we're doing carnivals. We do outdoor movie watching nights where we're, the typical movie theater fare of popcorn and some candy, and people bring chairs, and we're servicing that as well. So it's about being flexible and about, really having fun with it. And that fans come down here for all sorts of reasons, not just hockey. And it's, we do, events that partner with what's going on inside the building as well. So we call it a front door experience. So Backstreet Boys and the events team has a really fun 360 camera where our fans can take pictures in there, and then they can come get the feature cocktail and enjoy that even before they're going into the venue. So lots of holistic ideas. And if it's Oktoberfest, it's about our menus inside the building having Oktoberfest style menus that really help enhance the entire feel of Ice District.
Got it. And how are you making this uniquely Edmontonian? Like, how are you injecting those local culture and community aspects of it to really enhance the appeal of this place?
Absolutely. We're jeans and jerseys. Like, some other arenas and a lot of other arenas in major metropolitan cities, when you walk into the building, everybody's in suits, or in our premium spaces, they're in suits and they're coming straight from work. But our fan base has the ability to go home, change, and to grab their jersey and come to the game. And so what does that mean for our fans? That they're a little bit more casual, and you're not going to know who in the whole building has the most amount of money, because they all are the same demographic. We are all in this together. And so jeans and jerseys. So from us, it's an approachability standpoint. We're not going to sell and be successful with a very high-end steak restaurant. We tried that. That was Curve Restaurant when we opened this building. We thought, let's cater that style demographic. We're metropolitan, we're downtown. Let's try that. It didn't work. That's not what our fan base is looking for. They love their fan favorites. They're elevated fan favorites, absolutely. The pierogies is a big, right? When you think of Edmonton food, pierogies and donairs, I think, are the number 1 and number 2 things that people think about. But what did we do with our donair? We put it in a t-shirt cannon and shot it into the crowd this year, starting in playoffs. So it's about taking those really fun Edmontonian things and elevating it a bit. Same thing with our pierogies. It's not just pierogies with some garlic and onion. It's turkey stuffing pierogies at Christmas time with cranberry sauce. It's butter chicken pierogies. It's really finding a fun twist to keep it interesting and keep our fans really liking their comfort foods. And then it's developing spaces that and menus that our fans love. Like they love a good plate of nachos, just like you make in the oven on a tray with a bunch of cheese on everything. So that's exactly how it comes out on Loge level. So it's really about a lot of those home comfort foods. And we're Alberta, so Alberta beef and hips of beef and really unique tomahawk steaks and things that are very cultural to Alberta and to Edmonton. Those are feature all over our menus all the time.
And kind of hearing you talk about this, it sounds like there's like an incredible amount of success in terms of like from vision to execution and kind of iterating over the years, but not all of it is kind of this like catch-all success. Like I think we
No,
talked
yeah.
about, like you kind of alluded to with Curve, like this is hard to build. So can you kind of go through like that kind of iterative like concept, failure, pivot, and then creating something that actually works that we talked about before?
Yeah, absolutely. And Curve is a perfect example to that. So it was a restaurant, it overlooks Fort Hall, our main entrance, and it was designed as a la carte steak restaurant. For example, Braven across the road at JW is a fabulous success of an a la carte steak restaurant. But when we did it in Arena, it failed. We had not even 30 people coming through that restaurant on any given game day. Places like Montreal, all they have is these style of high-end restaurants, and those are extremely successful. But it didn't work here because that's not our fan base. So in 2018, we were challenged with reinvigorating that space and working collectively with building ops and marketing. We developed the concept around Studio 99 and really leveraging I like to say leveraging our dynasty as we're building a new one. So fans can come in and reminisce and see all this fantastic memorabilia from our 80s run just before they're going out and watching the next generation of that, watching Connor and Leon go and do their thing and create the dynasty that we're currently building right now. And that's a all you can eat buffet restaurant. So it's fan favorites. It's a fry bar. We call it the hot dog safari. So lots of different types of sausages and hot dogs that you can build. Our buns, for example, are local. So they're baked locally with Italian bakery. And then our chefs do some really fun, unique wow items. And it's a space that everybody from around the world come and book reservations to now. Now, did it start off with 400 reservations in 2018 when we launched? Absolutely not. I remember we were given 6 weeks. Beginning of September, we were told you have to make a new restaurant concept, come out with a new plan, and be ready to go for home opener on October 18th. And we did it. It was a ton of work and it was an amazing effort by so many different departments. But then, yeah, October 18th, we had like 100 reservations that day. And now our spaces, we're seeing over 400 people walk through
Wow.
there on any given game day. And it's an amazing feat. And it grew and developed over the years. And now it's a destination that people come from all over the world to come and dine in Studio 99 and to see the memorabilia that's in there and to experience it. And at the same time, this, at one table is somebody who's maybe come from Germany to be there. At the next table is a season seat holder who literally comes every single game, that has a standing reservation, has his or her table, and that's the spot that they're at every game. And so our job is to appeal to both of those people. How do you make somebody not have menu fatigue when they're eating there 2 or 3 times a week, and also create a menu that wows somebody when they've flown thousands of miles to experience this food? And that's something that our chefs have been fantastic at, rotating through menu concepts and really, keeping our fan favorites, but always having something new and exciting for the fan that is there every single game.
Yeah, that's fascinating. And in terms of, technology that you're leveraging, how does that kind of fold into all of this? Because it sounds like you're popping up all this great infrastructure, and I'm sure that there's some glue that holds it together to make sure that it is really that kind of cohesive experience that every fan expects. So would love for you to kind of dive in a little bit more on like how you think about tech strategy around that when you're building out the ice district a bit more, when you're creating these restaurant concepts and you're making them better and better over time. And before you answer that, if anybody has any questions, we're going to do Q&A in a minute or two here. So feel free to drop your questions in the Q&A section in this webinar. But Sharnell,
yes, absolutely. One of the biggest things as we've progressed over the last 8 years is Wi-Fi. It sounds really simple, but your tech doesn't run if you can't have good Wi-Fi in your building. And for us, it's our POS is really important that they were connected to cellular as a backup. Previously, for their first 5 years, we did have no backup. Like it was Wi-Fi or that was it. And so that was something we had to iterate in making sure that we had the proper connection. And now that we have that and we're always backed up and our Wi-Fi always works, a lot of our terminals are like handhelds. We launched mobile ordering coming out of COVID, and that's been really positive in some of our spaces where they didn't want to always go up to a concession stand. And in some places, a lot of our fans do truly love our staff. Some of them, they've had the same staff, same bartender making their drink for 40 years. And so that's a really big part of what we do. But the mobile ordering is really important for us. And then throughput. So leveraging technology to make sure, if we have 18,000 people in this building, how are we getting through those lines really quickly during intermission so we can get our fans back to the seat? So it's always about leveraging and finding good technology that allows our team to easily go through their POS, select their items, and get the fan back to their seat really quickly. And then leveraging technology on the back end too for, really good food equipment in the back, and leveraging technology from an information standpoint. So we have our Rogers Place app, and our food and beverage menus are Eats to Your Seats, which is the brand that we use for mobile ordering. All of our menus are on there. So at the drop of a hat, you can book a reservation in Studio 99. You can, for the next game, you can order your food to your seat, and you can check a menu. Maybe you've got an allergen or you want to find out where to get a Hunter cookie. That's all available in the app. And then it's also about iterating. We've got a couple grab and go locations in the building that we are looking at innovating those spots and putting in more of them. And really, as we start to get busier and busier, for an example, during an average playoff game, we sell over 88,000 items in a game, crossing a threshold or being delivered to a table. So how do we do that quicker and more efficiently? And then really researching how to do that better for our fans is always something that we're trying to do. And I think a big learning piece for all of us is if everything you try works, you're not trying hard enough. So sometimes it is about trying something and it doesn't work, and then going back to the drawing board and trying a different program or a different way that the QR codes on the apps are laid out, and leveraging marketing and really working for visuals of how to train our fans to use some of the technologies that are in our building, because our fans are also, they love what they love and they are very much creatures of habit. And so getting them to use mobile ordering, getting them to go and use some technology, that's something that we always have to work on retraining our fans to do as well.
Really interesting. And just because we're coming up on time a little bit here, I just want to kind of put a bow in this, which is for other venue managers out there that are really trying to figure out, like, what can I do to grow my venue as a fan destination and really attract that crowd, whether that's from other urban centers that are adjacent or from more rural communities like those in Edmonton that come and travel all the way to Edmonton, stay in a hotel. Like, what would you say are kind of the foundational elements from a strategic standpoint to consider when building out that fan destination?
Yeah, I think one of the great quotes I really love is, particularly when it comes to hospitality, is service is black and white and hospitality is color. So what are you doing to add color to what you're doing? And how are you allowing your fans to leave the building remembering how you made them feel and how your staff made them feel? Because that's what keeps them coming back. And having something to get excited about is a huge part of that. And we're really lucky that the Oilers are such a huge piece of our culture here in Edmonton. But if every time a fan came in and they had a horrible experience at the bar or at the concession stand, that fan's not coming back, and they're not going to be wanting to spend the money the investment that it takes to come into our spaces. And so it's really important that every single member of the team has bought into the thought that hospitality is color, and hospitality is how you make your fans feel when they leave and that they get excited. So it's like every single one of our fans that are regulars in Studio 99 know who our supervisor Jordan is in that space. And she is one of the most commented on staff members when we look at our open table reviews. And so that is the big piece for us. We always say aces in their places. So our staff are always in the same spots every game so that they can build those connections with our fans. And that's a really big piece about hospitality is making sure that every single member of our team is part of how our fans feel.
Got it. Wise words.
Yeah.
And no, Sharnell, that's fantastic. I mean, I think at least I've come away with some things that I've learned from this, and I've talked to a lot of individuals on, different venues and all the different pain points they have here. So I really appreciate you taking the time to do that. We're going to jump right into the questions here. So first question, how do your staffing challenges compare to that in the US in terms of cost, minimum wage, and what tools do you use to mitigate that?
Yeah, absolutely. We are not on minimum wage. So we do offer every single staff member here a wage that is above minimum wage, regardless of if you are a server, a bartender, a security guard, a FanX person. Even if you're serving alcohol and get tips, you do get a little bit more than minimum wage, which is really important. And then we also do a lot of really fun retention initiatives with our team. So it's really important. We struggled a lot previously where the supervisory level person was really hard to retain that person. And that, that's who we're growing and developing into our managers and into our future leaders. And so we offer retention bonuses, like raises for the longer that they're here, which is really important to us. And then from our frontline staff, our IDH team does a fantastic job of recognition and making the team feel valued when they're here. And it's from a lot of our team members, tips are a really big part of that. And so, they do really well in that way too. We do a tips today program so that their tips are directly deposited as, a couple days after every event, and really just listening to our staff of what they want. Did we struggle after COVID? Absolutely. We struggled after COVID getting staff. It was very, very difficult to kind of get those people back into hospitality. 2021, 2022 season was really bad. Culinary, we struggle with culinary as well. We do a great program with a lot of the Ukrainian population that are here. We've got some really great Ukrainian sous chefs that help us with language barriers, as well as some of our other team members who help with some language barriers of a lot of our immigrant staff and people that are coming in who might not have English as their second language. So like our chefs have translators on their phones so that we can appeal to a larger demographic to come in and help work and be with us in the downtown core.
Great. That's super helpful. And I think you're a great example also around those retention programs and those
Yeah.
initiatives and supervisors. So I can say with you being still at, Rogers Place, it worked, at least with you.
Yeah, I'm not the only one, right? I've got our director of beverage and compliance. She was started as a supervisor as well. There's tons of examples of people who've been in this organization for many, many years and have really dedicated their careers to being here. And that's a fantastic representation of kind of the culture that's created in this building.
Amazing. Amazing. We have a couple more questions here. I know we're just about at time, but I'll run a little bit over just because there's interest. So are there any initiatives the team is looking to explore this year to up the fan engagement? I guess maybe we're even alluding into, next season because we're coming to the close of this one, but.
Always. Yeah. I mean, even upping the fan engagement, like come Saturday, things are upped for fan engagement. Everything is always, we try to increase every single round from a hospitality perspective. We mapped out what we wanted every single round to look like. We do a really fun program where we do gifting to our premium clients. So a fun little welcome gift is on their table for the first game of every playoff round. And then we do things like that at the opening of seasons as well. And then there's lots of menu iterations that are happening, lots of programs for what next season looks like and how to leverage. We do loyalty rewards here. So we're really looking at how to leverage loyalty rewards into hospitality, as well as I mentioned grab and go. So we're really looking at innovating our grab and go programs to have further technologies. If that's Mashkin, AFI, we've done a lot of research about Amazon just walkouts. And so it's just about what works best for our demographic and our fans, and how can we help get them through lines quicker so they can be back and enjoy the action in their seats.
Got it. And then in terms of, we got two more questions here. I guess we have a couple more actually. So what have your fans expressed wanting to see in upcoming seasons, whether VIP or GA? Like, what does that feedback look like?
Yeah, a lot of our fans are really liking the ability to to customize their experiences. So for example, in suites, we really try to have lots of different styles of packages. We also, one brand of ours that we haven't talked about is Oil Kings. So really leveraging our theme nights to Oil Kings. So for example, on Elvis Presley night, is the feature going to be a peanut butter and banana sandwich? And really leveraging some of these really fun theme nights. I think we're doing like a Louis the Lion features for the Oil Kings games. In suites, we do like birthday party packages. So really excited for those pieces to come next season, as well as with the Oilers. It's about who's our new partner. So last year we partnered with Baijiu, and we're really hoping for more of partnerships with them and other places on cocktails. And really, we got a few more cocktail carts coming in, so we're able to do fun and unique features like that. We've got a mixologist on staff that we're hoping to expand that mixologist program so that our fans can have really unique and fun experiences when they're here. And so it's just a lot more of those plans that are heading into September, but we've got 4 more wins to get under our belt. Yeah.
That's right. You've kind of pushed me into this Edmontonian bandwagon position. I mean, I'm a Bruins fan, but right now I have all my eggs in the Edmonton basket. So I'm rooting for you all. 2 more questions for you. So how does the technology differ from the premium side to GA? Because we talked a little bit about premium and kind of those gift baskets that you put there. But if you're in the GA, like how do those experiences differ from a tech side?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for our our GA fan, we've got a lot of great options, from more points of sale to get through their lines. Our director of concessions is really great at finding out how to efficiently put more staff behind a till so that we can get through more people in the same amount of time. So we've got a couple stands that maybe have 4 or 5 tills that were built into there, that he's doubled that capacity by shifting and relooking at how the concession stand is laid out so we can get through fans faster. And so usually in concessions, we do like a standalone POS station that needed like hardline technology and hardlined Wi-Fi and ports and stuff. And instead of adding more of those, which take up more space, we've condensed it, and now they're handhelds. So we can fit more people with less technology that needs to be hardlined and wired into the building, and really leveraging the Wi-Fi in the building to be able to get through those people in the same amount of time. And then our GA is where we do our mobile ordering. So being able to, particularly in our lower bowl, to get through some of those fans, and they don't have to get up out of their seat. They can order directly from the app, and then when they get up, they can go pick it up at the concession stand or have it delivered to them. Those are certainly the biggest things that impact our GA fan.
Awesome. And the last question here, which I feel like is appropriate, is kind of what's in store for Rogers Place over the next 5 years? The kind of the medium term to long term plan.
The medium to long term plan. So we've got lots of really exciting things. We're currently looking at expanding the ice district itself. So our campus is not done being developed. So we've got Fan Park and Plaza. The whole north side of our campus is not developed yet. So I'm really excited. Not that I can share too much of what's going on in those spaces, but if you visited us recently and you're going to come back in 5 years, our campus is going to look bigger and better than ever. We'll go through the summer in our rock box that's 40 feet with the patio on top. That's new this year. So we're really excited to develop packages for that move through the summer. We're really excited to see how we can leverage outside activations and pair them with inside activations. Is there a food truck component that is for Ice District hospitality that really helps us get our product out outside and leverage that? We're looking at lots of really fun and unique ways to change up how we're presenting our food, or being able to present it outside in a more all-inclusive way. And inside our building, just really excited about the menus our chefs are developing, the beverages and the cocktails that are coming through. Some of our liquor partners are really fantastic coming up this season, and so really excited to see the kind of offerings we're able to build there. Potentially looking at building out some more bars and having more cocktail carts and some renovations inside the building as we move through the next 5 years. And to me, it's crazy. Our building's 8 years old already. So, and we still look shiny and new, which is a testament to our building ops team, but really looking at the renovations that are coming through in the next 5 years in our spaces, because we're actually getting kind of old. So really trying to work through some of those from a strategy perspective and what's the best use of some renovation.
Amazing. We do have one last question. So can you share any insights in kind of the private events that are hosted there? Like how many
Yeah.
events, revenue, and for ice rentals, like just all of that stuff.
Yeah, we do lots of really fun things. So we lower the scoreboard and we do some private events on our arena floor, which are really fun. We've done multiple thousand plus person galas through Ford Hall that get built out and have stages and banquets and plated dinner services of 1,000 or 2,000 people through Ford Hall and the entire entrance of Rogers Place, which is super fun. We've got like a Rubik's Cube event coming up later this month, like the World Championship of Rubik's Cube, which is the coolest thing if you're really into that kind of stuff, which I think is super fun. So we've got lots of really fun and unique ways that our building gets used up on dark days. In our world, a dark day is when there's no events happening, and very few of those exist. Like our catering team works around the clock, day in and day out. When there's not an event happening, a major one, they've still got services here all the time. And we've got the Hlinka Gretzky Cup coming up this year in the summer, which is really fun. And we've got Oktoberfest and lots of really cool things outside happening. The CMAs, CFR, like lots of really fun rodeo and country themed events coming up in the fall as well. So really the events booking team keeps us very, very busy.
That's great. That's great. So we're over time a little bit, but I'm glad we were able to get to all those questions. Sharnell, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me, share your experience on this theme of, how do you really build out that destination? On behalf of Listo and everyone that's attending here, like we can't thank you enough. And we'll share out this video for everyone that attended as well if they want to share it with folks or people who aren't able to attend. But again, thank you for taking the time to do this.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Thanks everybody for
Bye,
attending.
everybody.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye-bye.